Tune into the Salsa Kings Network. Crack one open if you dare, creeps.
Hey, it's me, the Quenchies. I'm that late afternoon craving you just can't shake. Wait, what's that? Welch's Grape Aid? No! Made with real fruit and no added sugar, nothing answers the call of the Quenchies like Grape Aid. Got the Quenchies? Grab a Grape Aid in your juice aisle.
Exploring demon dimensions and mystery of a Cathler.
Yeah, and she still listens to heavy metal. Rookie deaky.
Buffy?
What if I told you that I had a dream about Angel and brought up some questions?
I'd say it was to be expected. Must have been some dream. I didn't think you knew what a card index was for.
Everybody, and welcome to another episode of Boys Watching Buffy. We're just two boys watching every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer for the first time, giving our review, our reactions, and the like. We're your hosts. I'm Joe Welke.
I am Vance.
And today we're talking about Season 3, Episode 4, Beauty and the Beasts, directed by James Whitmore Jr., written by Marty Noxon. Original air date, October 20th, 1998, to an audience of 6.2 million people. Big jump in viewership from last episode, but this is a fun one. I enjoyed this one. There's a lot to talk about, I feel like.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. There's going to be a lot of nitpicking and some stuff. Our predictions last week, I don't think we were close, really.
Yeah, I don't remember anything that I want people to know. I don't remember anything that I talk about in the last episode.
And sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
90% of the time we're doing this, I'm fucking hammered.
This is the podcast you decide to have your first beer.
Yeah. For everybody that doesn't know me, I've never drank or smoked or anything in my life. It'd be fucking weird. Just get shit-faced for every Boys Watching Buffy.
Just imagine what that would be like. What nightmare.
Oh, man. Yeah, I already have a hard time remembering everything that goes on.
But yeah, I don't think we would have been able to guess this at all.
No way.
But we did get something that you've been wanting to see for a while.
Yeah, and we get tackling some very important issues very ham-fistedly.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, shall we get into the episode here, Vance?
Let's do it.
All right, so the episode opens up with Willow reading The Call of the Wild to a Werewolf Oz. And I, right off the bat, need to bring this up because it annoyed the hell out of me.
Okay.
Oz, they must have had that werewolf costume on rental last time he was a werewolf, because he looks nothing like he looked like in the last time we saw him as a werewolf. In fact, he doesn't look like a werewolf at all. He looks like a fucking monkey man. Like, he looks like a Planet of the Apes ape.
Yeah, I had forgotten that the werewolf that was originally in the last episode was him. The one before when he turned. Because this werewolf is like him with a random costume on. As opposed to this hulking beast of a thing.
He looks nothing like it. Like, the other one had a snout and like an actual wolf face. Mm-hmm. This one doesn't have a snout. It's not gray. Like, the face is like it's like human white, skin colored.
It is weird looking.
It looks terrible.
And you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of, I don't know if anyone ever saw this movie, The Land of the Lost. This Will Ferrell.
Jorma
Tacone plays this like kind of like evolved human character,
like Neanderthal,
like a little monkey creature, and it kind of reminded me of that. I would not recommend watching that movie at all. But,
I heard that movie was terrible. Wasn't Oh, man. Danny McBride, wasn't he in that too?
Yeah, he's in it too, yeah.
Yeah.
On paper, it sounds okay.
Yeah, it looked real bad. That was like around the tail end of Will Ferrell being a superstar comic person.
It was right there when everyone was doing the remakes of anything, and they were like, Land of the Lost, sure, that's something.
Yeah. And then I think that, wasn't that around the same time, like, Michael Cera had that BC movie or something?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with Jack Black.
Yeah.
We've already gone off the rails.
Yeah, I mean, that costume, though, looked so bad.
You're
it looked
right.
nothing
I
like
completely forgot that he was the wolf in the last one, and he should look exactly like that wolf.
Yeah,
I don't know why he looks
nothing
different.
alike. Well, I thought, so at the beginning, they're like, this is the first day of the 3 moons. And I was like, maybe in the second day, he's going to look more wolf-like. And this is just like, but he doesn't. This entire episode, whenever Oz is a wolf, he looks so different than the first time. I don't know if this qualifies as a Joe's Fashion Corner, but
Sure. Wolf
that costume, that wolf costume was rough, dude. It looked nothing like it.
Yeah.
So Willow's reading him a book, looking after him. He's locked up in library jail.
I do want to say
the
Buffy is doing the VO in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to Willow reading in person. Yeah.
Yeah. And library jail is a very secure spot to be, apparently.
Apparently not.
Yeah.
They have a gaping flaw in library jail, besides the fact that it's in school.
Yes.
And the sun sets kind of while school is still operating.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll get to it later on in the episode. But anyway, we were so far off. Okay, so she's reading the book, and then Xander shows up, and she's like, hey, Xander, thank you for coming to take watching Werewolf Oz duty. I have to study for this really important test. And she's giving him like, well, I've been reading him. Don't say the word rabbit because he gets all freaked out. And here, if you really need to take him down, here's the tranquilizer gun. And Xander's like, relax, Willow. I got it. Don't worry about it. And then she hints at seeing him half naked or something like. And Xander's like, what? You've seen him at what half?
Yeah,
like, why do you care?
She's like, he's like, I'm okay seeing Oz full Monty. And she's like, I've only seen half Monty. And he's like, half Monty? What? Yeah. And I had the same reaction. Like, why are you jealous of this?
Yeah.
You're not attracted to her. You've stated you're not like into her like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel
it wasn't even like protective. It wasn't even like overly like older brother protective. It seemed more like jealous.
Well, remember when she got knocked out and he said that he loved her, and then she was like, Oz? Yeah. And he's like, oh, right. Here comes Oz.
I feel like that I love you wasn't a I love you in a romantic way either, though.
Oh, you think it's a friend I love you?
It was a friend I love you, and then he was a little hurt that like instead of calling out for her friend Xander, she called out for Oz. So it's like a jealousy and like you're no longer the most important person.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I buy that.
Yeah.
So then Willow walks away, and then Xander's like, fuck watching Oz. He's locked up. I'm going right to sleep.
When he's crawling on the table to go to sleep on the book, I'm like, wait, what's happening?
Yeah, I thought he was like doing some kind of seductive dance
It
or
was
something.
Like that thing where like someone's crawling on the hood of a car to like flirt or something. Like you see that like in libraries, you crawling across the table and someone's sitting at the chair. It was just filmed in a weird way.
It was very odd, but then he like puts a book down as a pillow and goes right to sleep.
Yeah. These guys are chill. There's a werewolf in a cage that you have been locked in yourself, I believe, when you were a hyena person.
Yeah.
Would you remember?
Yeah. I mean, that library jail has housed so many inmates.
Nobody's questioning why that thing exists.
Yeah, no. I want, like, what is even in there?
It's like
what's
weapons,
the purpose of it?
Books, and people.
Yeah. And now towels to censor Oz when he's naked. So then we cut to Faith and Buffy on patrol at the graveyard, and Faith is as horny as ever. She's talking to Buffy about Scott Hope, and she's like, so you fucking sucking this guy's dick?
You're doing the ditty? No, we don't do the ditty here. Oh, there's a hill that people go for smooches. And I'm like, what are we doing? What
Yeah.
teenager talks like this?
Yeah. But it's established that now Buffy has been dating Scott Hope. They've been going steady. They've been doing some smooching. And then we get to Faith really hammering home the theme of the episode of all men are beasts.
Yeah.
And they all just want one thing. They want the chase. And that's all they ever want. And then we cut to a guy being chased through the woods.
Mm-hmm.
And then he trips and gets caught and presumably dies.
I don't feel like if you're running from, like, say, a werewolf or a beast, you turn to face it.
Yeah, no.
You just let it maul you from behind and just, like, go out. like he turns and he's just like, no fight. Just turns and, like, looks at it and gets dragged off, which makes zero sense knowing what we know later.
Well, like...
This creature would not do that.
Why would you run into woods? Like, he's just running through shrubbery, like...
You gotta have the mislead.
I guess.
You gotta have the mislead. You know, he could have been at the cemetery and then, you know, taking a midnight stroll at the cemetery, and this guy showed up.
One time, so I live in Los Angeles. One time I was about to get...
Brag.
Yeah. Don't worry about it, everybody. Don't worry about me. Not even in Los Angeles, outside of Los Angeles. But I almost got mugged. And these two guys were chasing me and my buddy. And me and my friend ran away. And we did not turn around until we got back to my apartment, sprinting. And then we locked the door behind us. And the guys weren't even chasing us anymore. But we just kept fucking facing forward. That's the go-to. When you look back, you're halting your momentum.
Wait, you didn't do the movie look back, stumble over something?
No, you'd think I would.
See, I would never run back home because I don't want people to know. I wouldn't want criminals to know where I live. But in an apartment building, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. So that guy gets caught. Then we get the theme. And then the next scene is Oz and Buffy talking and Willow talking to like these two new people who we know are going to die.
Yeah, I'm like, can we just kill them right now?
Yeah, like let's just get rid of these people. These two new people are friends with Oz. Their names are Pete and Debbie, and they are in. It turns out Oz is in like marching jazz band or something, and that's how they know him. And they're talking about how Debbie's like failing chemistry, and Oz is like, oh, you know, I got chemistry notes. If you wanna look over my notes, I got a A in that. And she's like, yeah, please let me borrow your notes. And then Buffy mentioned something about how and Scott Hope is there. Scott is also friends with these two new people, Pete and Debbie. And Buffy's like, yeah, I got to go to the counselor, Mr. Platt. Because I need to prove that I'm not going to go off the rails and like destroy everything. And Debbie's like, you know, Mr. Platt, I hate that guy. He's such a creep. And then Buffy's like, great. Another creep I got to deal with.
In this scene, Pete tries to like get under Scott Hope's. He's like, oh, you didn't give her flowers? You don't give Buffy flowers? Yeah. And Buffy says, oh, we're pre-posies, which is a cute enough line. But I was also thinking he bought her a ring before they even went on that first date.
Exactly.
So I don't think they're pre-flower. Like all of a sudden, like he's not romantic enough, and Pete's just like, I mean, what a aggressive move to your friend.
Yeah, they're like doing this weird like relationship comparison where it's like, I bought Debbie flowers. What did you do for Buffy?
Yeah.
And then it's like Scott's like, what are you doing, dude? Like, why are you doing this to me? He got her a Claddagh ring. Yeah. And then she threw it on the ground and screamed.
There's a line later that Pete has that's pretty funny.
But yeah. So they're all creeped out by Mr. Platt, the counselor. And then the next scene we have Giles is concerned with Xander, and they're like looking at library jail. They're like, well, what could have happened? Because there was a student that got mauled last night. And Xander's like, I watched him all night long. I swear, like he was safe and he was there when he was in the morning. Oz and Willow show up and they're like, what's going on? Giles is like, well, somebody mauled somebody last night. It was a student, some guy named Jeff. And Oz is like, I know Jeff. And then they're like, well, it couldn't have been. Xander's like, well, it couldn't have been Oz because I was guarding him. I maybe closed my eyes a couple times, but he was there in the morning. And then Giles was like, when you woke up? Giles got fucking pissed.
Giles loses it on him. And then they like look into the cage. And this is my favorite part.
Yeah.
There's a giant window that's ajar.
Yeah.
Why did they think this would stop?
Yeah.
A gigantic werewolf.
Yeah.
Also,
like,
how have they been locking people in there? If there's a window...
Yeah, how could they forget about the window?
Why is it like it's unnecessary? And the thing is, we never see them fix that problem. They just keep locking him in there.
Yeah, now especially now that Oz knows that there's a window that can be open.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't he just jump out of that bitch?
Also, like, I was going to bring this up later, but why aren't they shackling him to something?
Yeah.
Why is he just like loose in a library
He's just
cage?
free roaming. He's just free roaming the library.
And a werewolf's not strong enough to break it out of that?
Maybe it's because somewhere deep down he knows not to do it or something. He's a good guy.
Like how dogs just won't go across like a boundary. Knowing like if you put one of things up, most of the time they'll just stay in the fence. I don't know, man. I'd say shackle is a werewolf.
Yeah, like, I mean, he shackled him. He was going to shackle himself even before all this.
Later, Buffy shackles someone.
Yeah. But Oz is like, or not Oz, Xander is like, well, the window is closed. And then he looks at the window. He's like, no, wait, no, it's not. And Giles is fucking living. I love Giles getting pissed.
Yeah. There's a little double standard of this scene, but sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's so funny to like see their relationship and how little he tolerates his foolishness.
He hates Xander. Like deep down, he really does hate him.
Yeah.
I also had this question. Why is the Watcher not watching?
Yeah, I mean...
He was all excited about werewolves. Now he has a chance to study one up close and personal all night. Mm-hmm. And instead, he has teenagers convincing their parents to leave to go to the school library to watch.
That's what I wanted to ask about Xander's parents. Like, we've heard of Willow's parents. Mm-hmm. We know Buffy's mom. We don't know anything about Xander's parents. Like,
Xander killed his parents a long time ago.
When he was a hyena. Yeah. I mean, it's just so weird that these... Like, I know that they are like, we'll just lie and say that we're sleeping over, blah, 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 blah. But, good Lord, man.
I mean, watch him, Watcher. It's in the title of the thing. Yeah.
So now Buffy goes to meet with Mr. Platt, and she's kind of giving him like this whole thing of like, look, I don't want a friend. I just am only here because I have to be. So let's not make this any weirder than it needs to be. And Mr. Platt's not facing her, and he's smoking a cigarette. Mm-hmm. So you're like, oh, Mr. Platt's a bad guy. Because we've heard about how creepy he is. Yeah. I heard about how creepy he is. He's smoking a cigarette. Uh-huh. He's talking to her with his back turned to her. And then he spins around, puts out the cigarette, creepily like sprays some perfume, and he's starting off pretty creepy. I'm not gonna lie.
I didn't find it creepy. I just found it just TV therapist talk.
So he's like, look, I'm here to give you honest opinions and honest advice. It's up to you whether you take it or not. But I'm just here to listen to you, give you some feedback. I'm not trying to push any kind of agenda. I'm just a good guy. And then you're like, oh, okay, Mr. Platt.
Yeah. He has a line where he's like, people can change. And I love, every time I hear that, I think about that. I think you should leave the sketch.
Dude, that show is so great.
This baby doesn't know people can change.
But he's basically a good dude. He's a good counselor. He's like, I just want to listen to you. Like, so tell me why you ran away. Mm-hmm. What happened? And Buffy's like, well, I'm back, so it doesn't really matter. And he's like, you keep giving me the end of the story. Tell me at the beginning, how did we get here? She's like, all right, well, I was dating a guy, and and then Mr. Platt's like, he started acting bad. She's like, well, yeah, he changed. And she's like, well, yeah. He's like, look, dude, everybody's got demons. He has also a line about
it was like, and you love him still. You still loved him even though he turned bad. And she's like, and you feel bad about it. She's like, yeah. Like he just hits every beat of her life.
Yeah. But he also is like double entendreing it with like everybody's got demons with like actual demons and stuff. But I did like his opening kind of thing about like, he's like, I'm as crazy. Like I'm only a little crazy.
Yeah.
And she's like, what do you mean you're only a little crazy? He's like, everybody's only a little crazy. Like if you see someone that says that they're not crazy, those are the fucking crazy people.
Yeah. I mean, I was really like, all right, this is going to be interesting. Like Buffy going to this like therapist.
Yeah. I was like, I like this
in
guy.
The school?
Yes.
This is actually on campus.
He's the student counselor. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That office looks pretty nice.
It's really nice.
I thought they were like going to like a private therapist somewhere else.
Yeah, and like when Buffy's talking to him, I'm like, I fucking love this guy.
Why is he not like stocked full of like? It should be a line to get in there after all the stuff that happened in the school. Oh, another one of your friends went missing? Okay, all right.
Yeah. Oh, Jeff died literally last night.
Oh, you're a werewolf now? Okay, all right.
Let me guess. You're dealing with some demons.
Yeah.
Look, everybody's a little crazy.
You found your friend. They were drained of blood through the neck. Okay.
What else is new? Welcome to Sunnydale.
Fill out the form and we can get you.
But yeah, she's talking to him about Angel and he gives her some good advice and blah, blah, blah. So then Buffy goes to the library and all the gang is looking very forlorn. And she's like, geez, what happened? And why is everybody looking so forlorn? And then Cordelia just comes.
Definitely used the word forlorn.
Fuck off. I forget what she says. She's like, oh, somebody, whoa, like, don't all be happy to see me or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was something like that.
Yeah.
And then Cordelia comes right out with it. She's like, we think that Oz is a murderer. We think Oz might have murdered somebody last night. And then everyone looks at Cordelia like, what the fuck? And she's like, what? He might have.
And then Xander goes on like a long rant of like, is this the part where Xander goes on a long rant detailing how it would have happened?
Yeah. And he's like, I'm not helping, am I?
Yeah.
They're like, no, dude.
I do love the moments when Oz realizes someone's dead. And he's like, I knew that person. I'm like, yeah, dude, you know all the people at the school. Like, students die every day.
Yeah. So then they hatch a plan to like get to the bottom of it. They got to go investigate the corpse to see if it actually was a werewolf attack or what's going on. He's going to get Faith to watch Oz for the night. And Oz gets oddly hurt about this. He's like, he gets his feelings hurt. He's like, oh, you're bringing a Slayer to watch me. Oh, I didn't realize we were jumping to conclusions this fast. It's like, bro, you're a fucking werewolf.
Yeah, I thought he had come to grips with being a werewolf, but apparently not.
He gets so butthurt.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what? What, you're going to have actually somebody strong that could stop me watch me? What a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, Willow can't watch me so I can eat my girlfriend when I break out.
As opposed to my girlfriend who has a gigantic tranquilizer gun.
I love that they keep bringing that gun back.
It's great. It's huge.
Yeah. I felt like it was smaller in this episode. I guess because he's a smaller werewolf.
Yeah. And so Oz starts to walk away. He's like, oh, let's not jump to conclusions. And he walks away. And then Willow goes after him. He's like, I'm trying to do the dramatic guy walk away from a hurtful conversation. You got to let me do that. And then Willow's like, I would like to, but... And then she points to the clock and it's like 5:30.
Yeah. I was like, I didn't even look at the exact time. And I was like, all right, so I guess it's late. And...
Dude, it's so not late. And I'm assuming that like this is the start of school, so the sun wouldn't be going down until like 7.
At least, right? Like
maybe it's 6:30, but it seemed like it was 5:30.
Yeah. And it's weird that it seems like school is still open.
Right?
Like somebody could be like, hey, I'm going to study in the library after class late. And then like, why is this dude
just looking very...
in a cage? Why is there a dude locked in a cage with tiles on it? Giles, what's going on?
It's like, don't worry about it.
Don't worry. Yeah.
But so...
You don't lock them up on campus. I'm sorry.
I know. Like there has to be someplace more secure than library jail. And do the students have keys to get in? Like, how did Xander get in at, like, what I'm assuming is 10 or 11 at night?
Normally when Giles is there just reading books anyway. I don't know. I do love Oz's walk to the cage when he realizes what time it is. Yeah. And it's like that mopey walk.
Yeah, you know, like the doon doon doon. So he walks and gets in the cage, and he closes it behind him, and he's like, "Don't look at me, Willow. Just get out of here. Get out of here.
Get away from me." It's like,
I might kill you. I'm a fucking werewolf. And then she's like,
I'm like, all right, let him deal with this for 3 days.
Yeah. It's so weird, dude.
I know, they tried to add a lot of drama to this, and we're like, it's fine.
Yeah. So then we get to Buffy. So the plan is Faith is going to watch Oz be a werewolf. Willow, Xander, and Cordelia are going to go to the morgue and break in and investigate the corpse. And Buffy's going to patrol the woods to see what could have possibly...
Because just walk through the woods. Just so dumb. Why is she's just gonna stroll through the woods? Like, all right, guess
he's just walking around with a flashlight
and a stake.
So that's exactly what Buffy's doing. She's walking through the woods.
Is Faith enrolled in school, or is she just a freelance? Is she just floating around?
She's a dropout. I feel like she's older than Buffy. Yeah. And she's got a tattoo. I mean, she's a bad butt.
she's a
real
badass.
Bad butt, Vance.
Bad
that
butt.
Fucking press-on tribal tattoo.
Yeah.
She's a real bad butt, my dude.
Did you notice her accent was like going all over the place?
Oh my God, it was, dude. I love it.
I didn't know what was happening. I thought I was losing my mind.
Dude, the accents in the show are hysterical. I love it so much.
In the beginning of a scene, they have her have some type of accent, and at the end of the scene, she just wouldn't. And I was like, what is happening?
So Buffy's roaming the woods, and she starts to hear some rustling around, and she's like, what the fuck is this? What's this? And it's somebody runs up on her and attacks her, and she gets hit from behind. She does like a little rollover, and she looks up, and who is it? But it is a feral angel who is shirtless, got blood on his mouth, but thankfully, he's got cargo pants on this time.
I wrote that in my notes. He's feral, but he's white. Like he's tame enough to know that I need some pants.
He's like, well, I don't want to be fucking. Yeah, I don't want to be lewd. Because when we last saw Angel, he reappeared naked as the day is long from the demon dimension, which we find out later.
Yeah.
And then he's like, look, I'm going to go around terrorizing people through the woods, but I don't want anybody to see my butt.
Yeah. I guess he had blood on his mouth from eating one of the deer that just roam around Sunnydale, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. One of the rats, because we know he was eating rats thanks to Whistler.
Yeah, or at least trying.
Yeah.
When is Whistler coming back? He gotta come back soon.
I know he's got to come back. That guy was so cool, minus his outfit. So yeah, then Buffy and Feral Angel duke it out for a little bit. And yeah. So then
doesn't she knock him out?
Yeah, she knocks him out. She kicks him right in the head.
It's interesting because I didn't know you could knock out a vampire that easily.
I also wonder, like, so many people get head trauma in this show. Like Giles has had several concussions.
Oh my God, the Giles scene later is one of my favorite ever.
Like, oh, mine too.
Yeah.
Like, how much CTE are all of these people getting? They're gonna be fucked up, dude. Yeah. But yeah, she knocks out Angel. Then we go to Willow breaking into the morgue, and she's pulls out the victim from the mauling, and she's got a Scooby-Doo lunchbox. They're really leaning into the Scooby Gang stuff, full of medical supplies. Xander, for some reason, sneaks up on her and does like I don't know why they felt the need to do this.
I think this was a scare for the audience, you know?
Yeah, like a little fake out scare.
Which I was like, does she not feel this guy coming up? And then it's Xander, so you're like, oh, okay, now it makes sense.
Well, yeah, it's also like, does she not know that it's Xander? And like they do the dramatic music, and then when Xander reaches out for her, it's like, ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, Xander. And he's like, oh, this place is creepy. And then Cordelia does the same thing to Xander.
Yeah. The Cordelia one was a nice little topper on that, I thought.
Yeah. So they're looking at this corpse, and Willow's being really, really like professional about it. And she's like looking for hairs or some kind of evidence that it's not Oz. And Cordelia is looking at the corpse, and she's like, oh my God, it's been mauled like crazy. It's all slashed up. This is so disgusting.
And I'm like, you guys have seen so much worse. They are freaking out about this body. And I'm like, you guys have seen some of the worst stuff before.
Yeah.
And I don't
Xander
know why
and Cordelia cannot handle this at all.
Well, yeah, and then Willow can't handle it later.
Well, yeah. Willow's like keeping her cool, and then she gets all of the stuff that she needs, and then Xander's like, all right, we got it? Can we leave? We're doing crime, and this is freaky. And Willow's like, yep, we got it. And then she immediately passes out.
Yeah.
And then Xander and Cordelia are like, oh man, this is a little bit too much for all of us to handle.
I'm like, gosh, you've seen way worse. But I could see if Willow was passing out due to the trauma of thinking like, oh, this is what my boyfriend does to people.
Yeah.
But like for them to be like, oh my God, this is the worst thing I've seen. I don't know. Yeah.
So then we cut to Buffy at the abandoned mansion where Kakistos happened, or not Kakistos, Akathla. I'm getting all of my fucking demons mixed up.
It's fine.
To where Akathla happened and where Spike, Drusilla, and Angel were living for a little bit.
Yeah, why not just go back to the most traumatizing places you've ever been to for both
exactly.
of you?
Exactly. She chains him up, and he's all feral, and he's like,
where did she get these shackles?
I don't know. Maybe
and why are they not using
them?
them?
Maybe she got them from Oz.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know what's happening. Yeah. But she chains him up. He's all feral. He's trying to attack her. And then we get like this weird radioactive chalk outline bird thing from where Angel came back.
They gave a Kendra outline. They brought the outliner back.
Oh man. And she like stands over it, looks over it, and then she looks up at Angel, and he's like,
I know he loved doing that.
Oh my God, absolutely. I would have loved it.
Yeah.
And then she just is kind of looking at him, and she just walks away. She's like, look, I'll deal with this fucking later.
Yeah.
So then we go back to the library, and Faith is there, and she's listening to her headphones, and she's dancing all fucking fidgety. She's not on beat. She's just shaking everything. Mm-hmm. Oz is in there as a werewolf, and he's just like,
like a mini werewolf.
Yeah, as a monkey man.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, even the tail doesn't look this like it's not a wolf tail.
The tail is insane.
The tail is awful. Oh man, I can't get over how much worse this costume is.
I know.
But Buffy comes up from behind her, and she grabs Faith, and she's like, oh, and Faith turns around and just decks her.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh God, I'm so sorry, I couldn't hear you coming.
Yeah.
And Buffy's like, yeah, I kind of figured that.
Don't sneak up on the Slayer, man.
Dude, don't sneak up on anybody.
Yeah.
That could happen to anybody.
Yep.
So then Buffy's like, look, I'll look after Oz. You can have the rest of the night off. And she's like, Faith is like, all right, cool. I'm going to go out fucking slaying motherfuckers. And Buffy's like, yeah, you slay to your heart's content.
Yeah.
So Faith leaves, and then Buffy goes through the book Dewey Decimal System Index. And she's going to start looking and reading about Akathla and the demon dimension. And she starts to do that, doing some research about how it could be possible that Angel could be back.
Mm-hmm.
And she falls asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the next morning, and she's snoozing. Giles shows up very calmly. Oz is a werewolf. Or he's not a werewolf anymore. He's naked in his cage.
Mm-hmm.
Giles shows up all calm, sipping on some coffee, sees Buffy sleeping, and he's like, look at this little angel. She is a little cutie sleeping on the job. What the fuck?
Right? Right?
What a goddamn double standard. He should have been just as pissed as he was with Xander.
Yeah.
But he goes up.
It blew my mind. Like, there was no... There's two moments in here where people don't realize the irony of their situation.
Yeah.
And this is one of them. And I'm like, I want Xander to pop in and be like, what up, Giles?
Yeah.
Like, what is that?
Oh, so you yell at me, but you're not yelling at her?
Yeah.
Why? Because she's a Slayer?
And then Buffy came and replaced someone that was watching, who wasn't doing a good job watching, really, and replaced them to fall asleep.
Yep.
Yeah.
He just casually strolls up, and she wakes up, and she's like, "Oh, hey, Giles." And he's like, "Good morning. What you doing? You reading about? Oh, I'm surprised that you even knew how to get to these books. Oh, isn't this fun? You're reading about the demons." And she's like, "Yeah." And he's just sipping on his coffee. He's like, "Oh, that's fun." And then Buffy's like, "Hey, Giles, hypothetically, I had a dream about Angel coming back from the demon dimension. Is that even possible?" And then Giles is like, "Was this dream a premonition? Because we all know that you have premonitions." And she's like, "I don't know. I don't think so. But it was a very, very vivid dream, Giles." And he's like, "Well, I've never heard of anybody coming back. It seems impossible, but I don't know. We're on a hellmouth. I've seen crazier shit happen." And she's like, "Well, what would it be like if someone did come back?" And he's like, "I'd imagine it'd be terrible because they'd be going through like a bunch of torture, and in the demon dimension, time moves differently." And then Buffy's like, "I remember, I was in the demon dimension. I was doing some kind of communist revolt."
She says that, and Giles doesn't flinch.
Yeah, he didn't hear about that unless it happened off screen.
Everything that we told, like she hasn't told them what she did.
Yeah,
beforehand. So when she mentions like, "Oh, I know," it's like, wait, you've been there? Like he doesn't press the issue at all.
But so he's like, so a person could be down there for hundreds and hundreds of years and be just being tortured. And then like if they do come back, I'd imagine that they're fucking really fucked up and they're basically a monster and they might lose their humanity and it'd be a terrible monster situation.
I wonder if we're going to see where he went. Because if he went to where Buffy went, it's insane that he didn't get out sooner.
Right? Buffy got out in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, she was like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah. But Buffy's like, so it would make him like a monster. Do you think that he could get his humanity back? And Giles is like, dude, I don't fucking know. Maybe.
Does Buffy think that she had a dream that she saw Angel?
Like, here's what I don't understand. Why wouldn't she just tell him from the get-go that Angel's back?
I think the reason she would say not tell people is because she would have to go through that whole drama of, should we kill him again?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then where does that leave Scott Hope, you know?
Yeah.
Is she cheating on Scott Hope?
Scott Hope's corny. I'll say it. He's a cornball. He's weird.
Oh, yeah. So Willow shows up and she's like all disheveled and she brought donuts and it's because she couldn't sleep. She's like, does anybody want donuts? And Buffy's like, you didn't sleep, did you? And she's like, don't worry about me. I just am high on sugar right now.
She's like, oh, yeah, I stayed up until the TV did that snowy thing. And for our younger listeners, there was a time when the TVs, they just didn't have stuff on TV after a certain hour. And it would just go to static, which is interesting because now that would never happen.
Yeah, there's endless entertainment.
It was like you would run out of TV shows. Yeah. It would just end.
TV's closed for tonight. Yeah. But then Buffy's like, all right, well, you went to the morgue, right? What happened? What's up with the body? And Willow's like, well, it's really inconclusive. We don't really know exactly what happened. And then Buffy's like, shut the fuck up, Willow, what happened? What's up with the body?
She's really rooting for it to be a werewolf and not Angel.
And Willow's really rooting for it to be something else. Yeah. And she's just like, it's just inconclusive. And then Buffy's like, all right, never mind. Sorry that I freaked out on you. Let me have a donut. So then we go to, it's lunchtime, and Buffy's going to go eat lunch with Scott and Debbie and Pete. And Buffy basically just has a plate full of a variety of different Jell-Os.
Which is probably the healthiest thing you can eat in that school.
And not according to Scott.
Yeah.
Scott Hope is like, what the hell are you doing? What are you eating? This isn't nutritious. And Buffy's like, it's got fruit in it. He's like, oh, it's not. It's fucking Jell-O. Get out of here.
He's like, those are marshmallows. And she's like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Debbie, she's talking, Buffy's talking about like how she has to go to Mr. Platt again. And Debbie's like, you know what? I didn't really like Mr. Platt. He's such a creep. How did you find him? Wasn't he creepy? And Buffy was like, actually, I kind of really liked that guy. He was pretty sweet. And Debbie's like, okay. To each his own.
Doesn't she say like he says some weird stuff or something? Like they really make it like he's a predator.
Yeah. Buffy's like, yeah, I mean, he's kind of weird, but I liked him, man. I thought he was pretty cool with his eccentricities. And then Scott just like kind of turns to her and he's like, hey, I want to tell you, you look great. And Buffy's like, oh, thank you. And he's like, yeah. And then he's like, but now I want to tell you that you look amazing because I know you didn't get any sleep last night, did you? And she's like, yeah, I guess you're right. Thanks, though. It's just like, what? What's happening?
Well, and
then she gets up and she's like, I gotta go.
And this is the line that Pete has. He's like, he says something. He calls her like a manic depressive. He's like, he's like, you got to thank for those manic depressives to Scott Hope.
Yeah, Scott's like, yeah, I guess.
So everyone knows Buffy has issues.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if they weren't convinced, like any kind of interaction with her would clue them in immediately.
Yeah.
ABC Wednesdays.
Y'all complain all day. We want books. We want paper towels in the classroom. Bet you want raises, too.
I'm still waiting on the paper towels.
Abbott Elementary returns with the new season.
We asked the district for more after-school programs. They gave us $50 for class pets instead.
Critics cheer. Abbott Elementary continues to be one of the funniest and most beloved shows on TV.
What y'all doing out there? Taking bribes? Proud of y'all.
Abbott Elementary, Wednesdays, 9:30, 8:30 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu.
So, you want to be a marketer. It's easy. You just have to score a ton of leads and figure out a way to turn them all into customers. Plus, manage a dozen channels, write a million blogs, and launch 100 campaigns all at once. When that's done, simply make your socials go viral and bring in record profits. No sweat. Okay, fine. It's a lot of sweat. But with HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools, launching benchmark-breaking campaigns is easier than ever. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
So Buffy goes to see Angel, and he's still in a feral state. Only this time he's like sheltered, and she like he's like covering himself up, like he's been hurt or something. And she walks over to him, and she's like, "Angel, can you understand me?" And she goes to touch him. He's like, and she's like, "Oh man, he's still fucked up." So dope. So then we get to Pete and Debbie, and they're like fooling around and they're like smooching and stuff. And then Scott's like, let's go into this closet. Let's go into the closet that we always go into to smooch and fuck around.
Isn't this closet right down those, like outside of those steps that we always see? Isn't like...
I have no idea about any of the locations of this school, dude.
Yeah. It seems like a place that you wouldn't be able to do secret stuff in, because it seems like the groundskeepers have all their equipment in there too.
Yeah, but there's apparently a bunch of science experiments going on in there. But yeah, when they go into the closet and they're making out and stuff, in the background you see a bunch of like gardening equipment and like hose and stuff and shovels and shit. It's like, this isn't very secretive.
Yeah, it looks like the maintenance shed or something. Yeah.
But Scott turns around and there's like a mason jar filled with like this glowing green ooze. And he turns and looks at it and he's like, Debbie, did you drink this? Have you been drinking this? And Debbie's like, what? No, I didn't drink anything. And he's like, I told you to never drink this. I don't even drink this anymore. And she's like, what? I threw it out. Don't worry about it. Let's get back to making out. And he's slamming stuff on the floor. And he's like, I don't even need to drink this stuff anymore to be the manly man that you want me to be. Because right now, all I need to do in order to turn into this aggressive man is listen to the sound of your annoying voice. And then he starts to get veiny in the face, and his head just like shakes in 100,000 different directions. And then he turns into like a Jekyll Hyde type situation. He becomes this like really demon-faced guy, but he's not a demon. This is a science experiment gone wrong. He has perfected the Jekyll and Hyde formula, though.
Can I just say, the kids at this school are geniuses.
Absolutely they are. like those two kids brought people back to life from the dead. They sewed people together and shit.
Yeah.
This guy's creating Jekyll and Hyde stuff. Like
Willow's super smart.
The education that they're getting.
There's a witch that can cast spells.
Dude, it's unreal. And like Oz, who is a werewolf, is known as like one of the smartest people in the school, and he doesn't even try.
Yeah.
He's just like a genius.
Yeah. The school for the gifted, man.
I know. Like Sunnydale is very underrated as a school. Like these kids are smart as
I think
fuck.
It would be rated higher if more kids didn't go missing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even the kid with the brain cancer.
Yeah, he was a genius.
He was a genius, and he was not a bad ventriloquist. Was he the ventriloquist? I don't remember. That was so long ago. I think he was
the ventriloquist. But yeah, I mean, he was a bad ventriloquist.
And also, amazing swimmers because they're swimming monsters. What a show, dude.
The coach was able to figure out some Russian fish DNA.
Yeah, that's true. He figured out like a super soldier serum. Like, everyone at the school is incredible.
It's just doing science experiments.
Everyone at the school is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then Pete starts to like beat the shit out of Debbie. He like punches her and he's like, you're so annoying. And then as soon as she like falls to the ground, he turns back into normal Pete. And he's like, so look, I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. But you know you're not to make me angry, because when I get angry, I just do stuff like that. So why'd you make me angry? This is all your fault. And if you don't want to get beat up, don't make me angry.
Yeah.
Domestic violence.
This is where he becomes
heavy-handed.
He becomes the incredible toxic masculinity.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a toxic Avenger. He's like the toxic masculinity Avenger.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's super heavy-handed with the all men are beasts type of deal and domestic violence and all this shit.
Man, this show is not equipped to handle what they go into.
Oh man. So then we get Buffy walking into Platt's office again. And as soon as she opens up and says, "Don't turn around," you're like, he's dead.
We've seen enough TV shows and enough media to know that if they don't show the person and someone starts to spill their guts and she's about to tell him everything, which I thought would be really cool.
Yep.
You're just like, yeah, can we just get to the reveal that he's dead?
Yeah. So she's like, "Don't turn around. I'm going through a bunch of shit and I just need someone to talk to. No one can understand me. No one will understand me. And I just have so much burden on my soul and I need to unleash it and I need to talk to somebody and I need to talk to you. And oh my God, your cigarette is burned all the way to the butt and you're probably dead, aren't you?"
Yeah.
And we show Platt and his face is all fucked up and his eye is missing and he's all mauled and shit. And I got a little offended for Giles at this moment. Because she's like, I don't have anyone to talk to. No one will understand me. Giles has done nothing but give you great fatherly advice.
No, but she can't talk to Giles because Giles is going to be like, "Oh, Angel's back, the demon that killed my girlfriend." Like, that's not going to work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
like,
what is she going to tell fucking Platt?
She's going to tell him that she's a slayer. And she's
you
going
think that
I think she was about to go all in. What does she have to lose? What does she have to lose? Chances are the guy's going to die in 2 days anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, why not? She could talk to her mom, but I guess not. Maybe.
Yeah, because she doesn't like Angel.
Kids and talking to their parents about this stuff isn't flying. How did the guy die the way he did? Well, whatever. The bigger issue here is Buffy was going to this guy to kind of like reintegrate herself into the school. right?
Mm-hmm.
She's going to 2 sessions and the guy turns up dead at the next one. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I know in the next scene, I was like, well, he was dead like moments before she got there. So it's not on you. I'm like, it still looks real suspect.
Well, also, how quickly... So we know that Pete killed this guy. How quickly did he kill him? So this is either the situation. There's 2 scenarios here. Mm-hmm. He either killed him so fast while he was smoking a cigarette that he didn't even have time to move his hand from being on the desk smoking that cigarette. Or he killed him and then Pete propped his fucking hand up there and lit a cigarette.
Yeah. I think the second one is more likely.
Because Pete's just like freaking out and he's like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
There's no way this guy attacks you. You have no defensive, like you don't put your hand up to stop someone from slashing your face.
Yeah, I mean, and also I really liked this guy.
I did
and he
too.
was like
He's
a cool, and also there's no black people in this show.
No, there's not.
And this guy was like a great dude. Like we came into it like, oh, he's a creep, but he seemed like a really good character that could help Buffy.
He could have turned out to be a creep 2 episodes later too.
Yeah. Gotta give me something. Mr. Trick has to come back.
We do have Mr. Trick.
He's got to come back.
I mean, you can't have 2 black guys on the show.
That's true. That's true.
This guy
it's
is
a 1 Starbuck, 1 black person down.
This actor that plays Mr. Platt, he's I've seen him in a bunch of stuff. I think he's in like a Disney Channel show. He's like a character actor, been in like commercials and stuff. I think he's in like one of those Disney Channel shows where they run a hotel or something. The Cody or something. I've just seen him like popping up in a bunch of stuff. So
yeah, but well, he's dead now.
Yeah. And Buffy's not a suspect magically.
No.
Somehow.
No.
Buffy shows up, person's dead, she's fine.
Yeah. And then so Giles, Buffy goes to tell Giles about like Platt being dead. And he's like, all right, well, we found out that he died moments before Buffy got there. So Buffy's not doing it. And since he got killed during the day, Oz is off the hook. And Willow's like, fucking yes. And then she's like, oh, wait a minute. Somebody died.
Yeah.
Whoops. And then Buffy's like, don't worry about it. People die here all the time.
Exactly. That's my thought. Like, come on. At that point,
like this guy doesn't have a family.
Yeah.
Like everyone is just like, don't fucking worry about it. It's all good.
Which I thought was interesting that they got away, like that they made that happen. I thought they would like tease it more longer, but they made it obvious. Like, oh, it's not him.
Yeah. But then they're like, wait, speaking of Oz, where is he? It's almost 2:30 in the afternoon. We got to lock him up.
Yeah. Maybe this is more the remastered lighting issues.
Yeah, maybe. Potentially. Who knows? But yeah, it's like 5:30 again or something. And they're like, wait, where is Oz? We need to lock him up because the sun's about to go down. And Oz is on the loose, a.k.a. in the quad. He sees Debbie and he's like, hey, here's those notes for chemistry. And then he notices that Debbie has a black eye. And he's like, whoa, what's going on here, Debbie? And she's like, oh, nothing. I'm just so clumsy. And then Oz is like, oh, let me guess. Like even Oz can't stand how ham-fisted the script is. He's like, let me guess, you tripped and fell and you hit yourself into a doorknob. Yeah. And she's like, I mean, kind of, yeah. And he's like, okay, well, if you ever want to talk about what's going on, I'm here for you. Let me know. And from a little distance away, Pete is seeing all this happen. He's like, what the fuck is Oz doing? Yeah. What's he doing? Talking to my girl. Talk to my girl, motherfucker.
Yeah, their conversation like in the middle of the quad in the open, this empty. Just such interesting framing for that.
Yeah. So he gives her the notes, walks away, shows up to the library, and they're like, well, what's the link? Like the gang is like, what could potentially be the link between Jeff and Mr. Platt? Is there a link? And Oz is like, Debbie's the link. I just saw her on the quad. She's got a black eye. She knew Jeff. We were in marching band together. And she knew Mr. Platt. She's the link. And they're all like, oh, oh, wow, you're a really good detective there, Oz. Like,
yeah, they solved this so quickly. Like this scene, I was like, oh, it's going to be a couple more beats. Then they go right to like, oh, Pete. It's Pete that did it.
It's definitely Pete.
Oh, and Buffy's like, yeah, Debbie said that she didn't like the therapist. So obviously Pete went crazy, turned into some other mad creature, and killed him. That's the only logical explanation. And you're like,
he probably killed that guy Jeff too.
Yeah. And you're like, what?
I don't know how they jumped to that conclusion.
I still jumped to the conclusion that Buffy killed him. Like, and just lied about it. That's more likely than this.
Yeah. So then they're like, all right, we gotta hatch a plan, all right? Oz, get in the cage.
He's like, oh, yeah.
Oh, right, I'm a werewolf. Oh, right. Oz, get in the cage. Buffy, Willow, look out for go find Debbie. And then somebody else, I forget who's there. Is Faith there?
Maybe,
But they're like, go find Debbie.
Faith is there.
Go find Debbie, and Faith, you go find Peters. I don't know. But so then we get Debbie in the bathroom, and she's using makeup to cover her black eye. And then Buffy's like, it's really tricky to cover up that black eye, huh? And she's like, yeah. And then Buffy's like, you know what's really good for that? And Debbie's like, what? And Buffy's like, not getting hit in the fucking first place. It's like, yeah, way to victim blame, dude.
Really? Like,
they're going so hard on Debbie.
There's a line in here that's just so problematic later. But yeah, man. Like, try not getting hit? Like, what? I thought she was going to be like, I thought she was actually going to give her tangible advice to cover up the bruise. Just like high school girl to high school girl.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, you're not a slayer?
Yeah.
Oh, you got molested by the swim team that was supercharged? You didn't just beat him up in the car like I did? Ugh.
Yeah. Hey, how about try not getting hit by fucking scumbags, okay, you dumbass? Debbie's like, Jesus. She's like, no, it's fine. I don't get hit. And then Buffy's like, no, but for real, what's going on, man? What's up with this guy, Pete? We know Pete's doing this to you. What the fuck? Tell us what happened. And Debbie's like, dude, why are you coming at me so hard? It wasn't Pete. And Buffy's like, we know it's fucking Pete, dude. We know it. Stop covering up for him.
Yeah, we got no proof at all. We just came to the conclusion.
Yeah. And then we cut back to, in the middle of this like heated exchange, we cut back to Angel at the mansion, and he just fucking rips the shackles off of the wall. Yeah. And he's like, all right, I'm free. I'm running out of here.
So they're terrible at locking people up.
Yep. And then from there, they cut back to Buffy being like, Debbie, what the fuck is your problem? Why won't you tell us what's going on? Why are you getting hit? Stop hitting yourself. Like bullying her for getting beaten up by her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Like, it's unreal. And she's like, you need to fess up to what's going on. And if you're not going to help us, then we don't even really give a shit about you, basically.
I have 2 lines from this scene.
Okay. Yeah. I know that you said that there's like really.
So the first one is, anyone who loved you couldn't do this to you, is what Buffy says.
Yeah.
She says this with no irony whatsoever.
No. Yeah.
Like, I thought the point of cutting to seeing Angel breaking loose and then Buffy saying this line would be ironic, at least to her. Like, it was like the last episode where she's like, oh, you're running away again, Faith?
Yeah.
With no acknowledgement of the irony of that. And then she's like, if someone loved you, they would never hurt you. Meanwhile, you've been fighting Angel for a half a season.
Yeah. As he's trying to kill all of your friends. And you're still like, I don't know. I feel like we could save him.
Yeah, I don't know how you could love someone that hurt you. I'm like, what, Buffy? You just had that conversation.
No, this isn't real. This isn't him. He's not like this. He killed so many people.
I'm like, Buffy, do you not see the connection between you two?
Yeah,
they don't do anything with it. They don't like actually. She doesn't say it and then have that moment where she looks and she's like, "Oh yeah," like
or like Willow doesn't say like, "Hey, chill." Like nobody stops Buffy from being like such an asshole to Debbie.
And then like the last line, I mean, I guess we cut around. Like Pete goes to confront Oz and turns into like his weird thing in front of Oz.
Yeah, he turns not. But at a certain point, like Debbie just starts repeating herself. She's like, "No, I know he loves me. No, I know he loves me. I know he loves me." And then Pete goes up to Oz, who's in library jail, and Pete's like, what are you doing macking on my girl? And Oz is like, I was just giving her chemistry notes, man. I am not macking on your girl.
How does he know that Oz is in the library?
That's what I was thinking.
And 2, he could just walk in?
He can just walk in.
So any student could walk in and find Oz locked in a cage.
And like, he doesn't.
A teacher could walk in.
Bro, he doesn't have any questions about why Oz is in the cage.
No.
He just shows up and he's like, you're macking on my girl. And Oz is like, I wasn't. And you should probably leave because some shit's about to go down and it's going to be weird. And I don't know if you're going to be able to believe what's happening. And he's like, I don't give a shit. I'm going to beat you up because you're macking on my girl. And Oz is like, no, but for real though, some crazy shit's about to go down in like, 15, 20 minutes. So I would get out of here if I were you. You're not going to believe what you're about to see. And then Pete turns into Hyde, Mr. Hyde. And then Oz is like, oh, well, maybe you will believe it. This guy rips off the library jail's door.
How is he stronger than a werewolf?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I have no idea.
When he rips that cage off, I'm like, oh, so you could have just done that.
Yeah. And then he grabs Oz and just starts flinging him around.
Well, I got to go back to the line, the most damning Debbie line.
Okay.
She's like, when she keeps repeating herself, Willow's like, oh my God, he really broke her or something, right? And man, Buffy goes, I think she was already broken.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, damn.
The line that she repeats is, he does love me. I wrote that down. But yeah, I forgot about that Buffy line. That is so harsh.
Buffy, wait, what? You've been in an abusive relationship.
Dude.
Like the victim blame?
And like, she has no remorse, no care for Debbie at all. She's just like, she's already fucking broken. Let's stop wasting our time with her.
So the lesson is, don't get hit and don't already be broken. And if you were broken, that's why you got abused. It's the most victim blamey shit ever.
It's unreal. And again, like you've been saying, zero irony.
Yes, I don't get the show. I don't understand. Like, scenes before, she was just having a scene with Platt about loving someone who turned bad.
Yeah.
And now she's talking to someone about a bad guy and does not seem to grasp the connection.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Insane to me. Insane.
So then we go back to Pete and Oz fighting, and Pete's just chucking Oz around. He slams him through a table, picks him up over his head, throws him on the stairs. And then Oz gets up and like kind of he kicks Pete off of him somehow.
Yeah, because he was able to kill a grown man that's a therapist without him even moving.
Yeah.
But Oz, the smallest person in the world, can just kick him off. Yeah.
So Oz kicks him off and he kind of stumbles. Pete stumbles back, and then Oz, kind of in a stupor, looks out the window, and it's the most CGI nighttime sky out that window. Why even bother? Why not wait till the night?
Yeah.
Looks up, sees that the sun's down, and he looks at Pete and he goes, time's up. Shit's about to get a whole lot more interesting. And I was like, this is pretty sick.
This is what you always wanted.
So then Oz turns into a monkey.
And they don't even waste time with the transition.
No.
They just
like the last time we
on the face, and then it's just like he's in a pullout. It's
done
like
well.
Animorph. It's done well.
It is done well, but like we saw him turn into a werewolf. Remember when he was like behind the couch and it was like a long, maybe half a minute to a minute process?
Mm-hmm.
This time he's got it down. He just is like, it's clobbering time. And he just turns into his monkey wolf.
We don't see the clothes go anywhere. He's just already there. Like clothes ripping.
Yeah, he's just already naked.
Yeah. And he's still smaller than the dude.
Yeah, dude, like this costume sucks.
Why?
Why is he used smaller? To be big and hulking and muscular, and now he's a small monkey. It's terrible.
If you didn't know that was supposed to be a werewolf, you would not think it was.
Yeah, you'd be like, what is this feral monkey?
Yeah. Gotta call animal control again.
He turns into a werewolf, bites Pete's arm, Isn't that how they turn into werewolves? So now is Pete a Jekyll Hyde werewolf?
I didn't think about it immediately when he bit him, but I thought about it when he was running down the hallway later and grabbing his arm. I was like, oh, wow, is he going to get away? And then we're going to be like this weird super werewolf beast?
Yeah, that would have been really fucking cool.
Yeah, but no, he's just bitten so he can leave a blood trail.
Yeah, he's just bitten. He goes, ow! And then he runs away. The gang shows up, and Pete chucks somebody on his way out. Monkey Oz. Wait,
you're missing a whole.
Okay, then you talk about it.
Well, you're missing one of the greatest Giles moments ever.
Oh yes, this is one of the highlights of the show.
Yes,
for sure.
Giles is the knockout king. Anytime there's a fight at the end of the episode, he will find some way to be unconscious. He has to get secondhand reporting, even though he's there every event.
He's watching the inside of his eyelids. That's that's the only thing he's watching.
So the fight starts happening. Everyone runs in. I have no idea where Giles has been. It's Giles and Buffy and Willow all run in. He's like, oh, get the tranquilizer gun. So Buffy has a tranquilizer gun, and she's going to shoot.
She's going to shoot Pete or Oz.
Yeah.
Somebody's getting shot.
Yeah.
And Debbie runs in, and just as Buffy's aiming, she pushes the gun and causes Buffy to shoot Giles.
And he gets shot in the back. And his look when he turns around and then just goes, bloody priceless. And his fall, I watched it twice. That fall is amazing. The way he looks at them come on, bloody priceless. And he just slumps to the floor. He should have won an Emmy for that. Honestly.
Well, also, I feel like Buffy should have won the female Emmy for her,
the female Emmy? What's the female Emmy?
You know, the best male actor and then the best female actor. Yeah. She looks and she's like, oops, sorry, Giles.
That whole moment.
Bloody priceless.
And he just slumps over and his legs crossed.
Yeah.
It's so good.
That's definitely one of the highlights of the entire show so far. Yeah. It was so fucking funny.
He just got in the room too.
Yeah, and so then Pete and Oz escape, and then Buffy's like, "I'm going after Pete. Faith, you take the tranquilizer. Willow, you go after Oz." And so that's how they kind of split up.
Faith and Willow are going after Oz, who's scampering down the hallway.
He's scampering, running how a monkey would run. With a tail that is limp, like a monkey would have.
He's doing that that hop thing.
Yeah.
Not like a werewolf would. And the werewolf that we saw was a bipedal.
Yes.
I don't know.
It's they forgot what happened in how do we know? And this whole show doesn't.
You know what? If you can't bring back that werewolf costume, don't make him a werewolf.
Yeah.
That was your decision.
So he's scampering. He's trying to chase Pete or get away from somebody. I don't know. Buffy is chasing after Pete, who is leaving a blood trail. Pete jumps up, climbs out a window, leaves blood splatters all over the place.
So he did what the werewolf couldn't do when the window in the cage.
Yep.
Pete's a better werewolf.
Yeah. He escapes through that window. Buffy's chasing after him. She can't find where he is. Then Willow and Faith are chasing after Oz, and then he starts attacking Faith because she's trying to shoot him, and she gets incapacitated.
The staging on this scene was so weird. You're running with a gun, and they run right up to him, and then all of a sudden he just turns around and jumps on her, and Willow screams.
Why didn't they shoot him? They're so close to him.
I know.
They're maybe 5 feet away from him, chasing him.
Yeah, and he just stops. He's not cornered. He just turns around.
Yeah. He attacks Faith, who has the gun. She falls to the ground, drops the gun, screams at Willow, get the gun. Willow gets the gun. Then he starts to attack Willow or something.
Willow pulls his tail.
Oh, yes.
That's
that awful tail.
When she pulled this tail, I was like, what is this?
Yeah, she gets him off of Faith by pulling his tail. He's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he chases after her, and then
Faith picks up the gun, shoots him, and then he's like, oh! And it just immediately drops.
Yeah.
Buffy finally sees the trail of blood by the window, jumps up to the window. Buffy's a better werewolf than Oz is as well. Yeah. She climbs out the window, sees a trail of blood leading to the closet where Debbie and he were making out. And Debbie's there waiting for Pete. And she's like, hey, I'm glad that you escaped. I'm so happy to see you. And Pete's like, don't give me that shit, you dumb bitch.
Yeah.
How did they know that it was me that killed Platt and Jeff? Did you tell them? And Debbie's like, I didn't say a thing.
She said they just figured it out. They just knew. And I'm also like, how? They just knew. They just knew.
I mean, Pete's in the right here. I mean, it's like, how the fuck did they just know?
Just for that little minor slivers. They just figured that out. He's like, all you women are the same. And he's going full toxic masculinity.
Yeah, he's just slapping the shit out of her. He's beating her up and eventually kills her.
Mm-hmm.
And then Buffy shows up after
she didn't take any of Buffy's lessons of not getting hit.
I know.
I mean,
she just learned.
How did that not help her in that situation?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
You know what helps? Not getting hit.
That would have been insane if that worked and she started dodging punches.
Or like Buffy shows up after she's already dead. She's like, I fucking told you.
They kind of do that, actually.
They do kind of do that.
Yeah.
So Buffy shows up and she sees Debbie dead. She looks over at her. She's like, I mean, what a worthless dummy. She should have fucking listened to me. Now she's dead. Look at her. So then Pete starts attacking Buffy. And they start to have a little fight. And they're going at it for a little bit. And then Buffy's kind of incapacitated.
Mm-hmm.
And then feral vampire Angel shows up.
Mm-hmm.
Just as Buffy's getting her ass kicked.
Mm-hmm.
And he shows up and he's like, "Rrr." And then Pete's like, who the fuck is this guy? I'm going to fucking beat this guy up now. And then so feral Angel goes and he beats the shit out of Pete and then just breaks Pete's neck, kills him.
Because he still has the chain. The shackles and chain.
He wraps the shackles around Pete's neck and just twists it and Pete's dead.
Mm-hmm.
And then Angel looks up at Buffy and Buffy's looking at him like, well, thank you, number one, but also, wow, that's traumatizing, but also, what the fuck? And then Angel looks at her and he's like, Buffy? Buffy, he goes and he hugs her, and then Buffy's standing there, and this is like the best acting I've ever seen, because Buffy has this crazy wave of emotions. She's crying, but also is like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, Sarah Michelle Gellar stepped up her acting this season. Like, even in the therapist room when she's about to spill her guts, like she's doing some work here.
Yeah, but that scene where she's just like blankly staring off into space while Angel's on his knees, like being like, Buffy.
She's like got tears coming. Yeah.
She's crying. She just witnessed a girl that's been being domestically abused.
She doesn't care about any of that.
Didn't really give a shit about her.
She doesn't care about the neck snap dude either.
Well, she sees that guy get the neck snapped, and she's just like, well, she looked at when it happened. She looks like, well, damn.
I think she might have been more fearful that it might come to her next.
Yeah, and then Angel all of a sudden snaps out of it. And he's like, "Hey, what's up, Buffy?"
Does he break the chains? How is he hugging her?
I think the chains were long enough that he could wrap around her.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
because it was a long chain.
So she's got like chains like wrapped around her leg while he's hugging her.
Yeah, I mean, he did have to wrap it around Pete's neck a couple times.
Oh yeah, it was definitely a long one, but
yeah. So Buffy is just like, my fucking life.
Yeah, right. What do you think of why Angel showed up there at that moment? And he realized, he's like, oh, you're Buffy? He had 2 other times before then to realize it was Buffy.
Well, dude.
Does murdering make you more, is it like a moment of clarity after you murder someone?
Also, I gotta address this. I don't know if this is part of the remaster or what. But Buffy chains him up in the mansion and visits him twice during the daytime. Is he still a vampire? Because later on he shows up with a vampire face to beat up Pete. Then kills Pete, loses his vampire face, says, "Hey, Buffy." But previously, when he's feral, he didn't have a vampire face. The continuity of this is so bizarre.
Well, he's definitely still a vampire.
Why didn't he at
because
least
apparently
feed
there's
on
no
Pete?
way. There was no way that you can change someone from being a vampire from what we've learned. It's easier to throw a soul in them than it is to get rid of that vampire.
It's easier to send him to hell and then bring him back.
Yeah.
I mean, good Lord.
But your question of why he didn't feed on him. Yeah.
I mean, how feral? Like, I don't know how feral he is. Yeah, Where is he at?
Well, he's feral enough that he realizes I should put on some pants. I should go save this girl that I'm not recognizing.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah.
It's so bizarre.
But you're right. He never had the vampire face. And he did the vampire face transition here to really highlight for Buffy. Like,
yeah.
Oh, Angel's back again. Weirdly, where do you think he is at the end of this episode?
Like, where do I think he is mentally?
No, like physically.
Oh, yeah, dude. I don't know, because Buffy can't chain him back up to that same post. Like,
did he just go back to his apartment?
Well, that has to, like, that we have to answer, like, where is he mentally? Because, like, does he go back to his apartment? Because he's mentally regular? Or is he still a feral monster that only knows one word?
I think he's no longer feral.
You think he's back to normal?
Yeah.
You think that those hundreds of years of torture that Giles was talking about, where he's going to lose his humanity and he's a monster.
Yeah. He got it back when he broke that guy's neck.
The cure.
That's all.
The cure.
Yeah, the cure.
The cure for lack of humanity is snap a guy's neck.
Yeah. He snapped his neck and he was like, "Buffy, is that you?"
Yeah. He's like, "Oh shit! Oh yeah." It's
sorry.
like post-cum clarity.
Yeah. Just like, all right.
Post-nut clarity. Oh fuck. Oh geez. Oh, that felt good. Oh, Buffy. What are you doing here?
It's the opposite of when he had sex with Buffy and he turned into a vampire.
Yeah. Yes. He turned into Angelus.
Yeah.
Oh god. So we get a nice little crossfade transition to everybody at school the next day, and the cover-up story is so fucking stupid.
Yeah, I wanted to get your take on this because I was listening to it and I was real confused.
I don't remember exactly what the cover-up is, but I remember writing that even Willow thought it was dumb. Like, everybody thinks that the cover-up of what happened is dumb.
So, do they think that... Okay, because she's talking to, Scott Hope or whatever at one point? Or is this late, or is this before?
She's talking to the gang. Scott's not there yet. But they're talking and they're like, there's a bunch of rumors about what's going on, but no one really knows for sure. But it actually was that Pete had perfected the Jekyll and Hyde, and they even mentioned Jekyll and Hyde serum. But Buffy heard a rumor that it's like he was taking a bunch of estrogen or something. And Willow said something about some kind of science experiment gone wrong with chemicals or...
Yeah. Didn't they say like he tried to get more masculine for Debbie or something?
Yeah, because Debbie was going to leave him.
More blaming the victim.
I know. Debbie's fucking dead. They like can't let this poor girl rest.
I know.
But they're like, yeah, Debbie didn't think that he was masculine enough, so he wanted to be a macho man.
So... did they find the body? So they're saying that this guy, like, what do the police think? They think this guy killed the therapist, killed this guy Jeff out of jealousy, killed his girlfriend, and then broke his own neck? Like, what? Like, how do they think he died?
Who called the cops? Because Buffy's the last person to see all of these people alive.
Did they scrub the blood out off of the like school walls?
Yeah.
Did they go into...
Do they not have security cameras at the school either?
No. They definitely
It's 1998.
Yeah, they
I
definitely
guess
don't.
they wouldn't.
But yeah, like, how do they explain why he's dead?
Yeah, who knows, man.
I was just like, and then we get like Scott Hope later talking like, well, I didn't really know, like, I knew them.
Well, it's also like it's the gang talking, and then Buffy sees Scott Hope, and they're all like, we just feel really bad for Scott, actually. It's like, what? Because Scott's just sitting all by his lonesome, like looking off into the distance, like, man, all my friends are dying.
Yeah. You know how many friends have just died of your group? Like,
yeah.
And there's some line that Cordelia has, like, oh, I haven't had now I have to have serious thoughts all day or something.
Yeah.
I forget the context of it. But yeah, I just didn't understand how they were going to explain away Debbie being dead and Pete being dead.
Pete.
Yeah. Like, how?
You know, I mean, people commit suicide by snapping their own neck.
Yes, violently with a chain.
With a bunch of chain marks around your neck.
Yeah. Okay, we didn't find the chain. We found the marks. His neck was... And they were found dead across from each other.
Yeah.
And he doesn't look like a Jekyll, so we don't know how he clawed these people to death. So 2 students have died.
The counselor.
No, 3 students have died.
Oh, Jeff. Yeah, Jeff.
Yeah. So this is a light day. This is a light day at Sunnydale High.
Oh, God. So, yeah. Buffy sees Scott, and everyone's like, I just feel really bad for Scott. Buffy sees him, and she looks over at him. She's like, oh, man, I feel really bad about this whole situation. Buffy feels worse for Scott than she did for Debbie, who's being beaten up by her boyfriend.
Yeah.
She goes over to... And this is her calming Scott down. She goes over to Scott, who is like obviously in pain. She sits down next to him and she goes, look, I don't know what to say. It isn't going to sound cliche or dumb. And Scott's like, thanks. I mean, goddamn, dude. At least try something.
Buffy really needed that therapist, man.
Yeah, I know. Look, I don't know what to tell you, buddy. People die. It's going to sound dumb. I mean, what do you want me to say? I mean, what do you want from me? You want me to say sorry? You're sorry. Okay, there you go. You feel better?
Hey, Faith, get over here. Faith, you give him some good words.
Yeah. So maybe Faith will give you a blowjob or something, make you feel better. Is that good? Is that cool? Faith's always talk about how horny she is. You want to bang Faith?
Yeah. She's just not killing slayers all night.
Yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. And then Scott looks off. He's like, I mean, I've known them since I was like a kid, like since before we even started going to school together, and now they're gone. And Buffy's like, yeah, that shit happens in Sunnydale, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, with that logic, right? Pete must have known Debbie for a long time, right?
Yeah.
At what point did he think she was going to leave him because he wasn't masculine enough? Meanwhile, we have Scott Hope, who might be tinier than Steph Green's Oz, dating a Slayer.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know like the mentality can be different, but like if Pete's been with Debbie this whole time, he didn't make a serum to keep, like, it's not like he won her over. Like, I could see someone trying to be manly. I could see Xander taking this to try to get with Buffy.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. But I don't know, man. I just still don't understand how they explain away his death.
Well, I just also love Buffy being like, yeah, man, sucks to suck. People die here all the time. Mm-hmm. I got to go, though. I got to go do something. I thought that she was going to break up with Scott, like, after his 2 friends died. And she'd be like, guess what? Also, you dumped.
Yeah, it's not working out. And I might have killed the therapist. Just
And also, my boyfriend's back and it's better than ever. Hey, my boyfriend's back.
I forgot we get this last scene.
Yeah, so she is like, well, sorry that your friends are dead. I got to go. I'll talk to you later. And then she leaves Scott to go watch Angel sleep during the day.
Well, again, remaster. Who knows what this lighting should look like?
Yeah.
It could have been at night.
It looks, the way that we're watching it, it looked like broad daylight out there, dude. And because we just saw Buffy with Scott in the daytime.
Yeah.
Looks like broad daylight. She goes to watch Angel sleep, and she's like sitting in the chalk outline of him, and she's just like, wow, what a weird...
Just the most traumatizing place they could go.
Yeah. And that's how the episode ends.
And it has the voiceover of her reading Call of the Wild too from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Angel's back-ish. Is he chained up or is he just sleeping there?
I think he's chained up.
Yeah.
I would take no precautions after what I saw. I would definitely chain him up. Unless he's like started having a conversation.
If he would let himself be chained up.
Yeah, I don't maybe he's not chained up. Okay. I don't quite recall.
Remember. Yeah.
All I do know is he was sleeping and Buffy's watching him like, my little angel.
Yeah, man. What an episode.
Yeah.
They tackled domestic abuse really well.
Yep. Very tactfully.
We figured out it's the woman's fault.
Yep.
All the time.
To everyone suffering from domestic abuse out there, have you tried not getting hit?
Not getting hit.
Have you tried that? Good God, dude.
She was a lost cause anyway. Who cares?
Yeah, she was broken before, and it was like fucking dumb. Hey, I don't know what to tell you, buddy. Your friends are dying. What do you want? Anything I say is going to sound dumb and cliche, so I'm not even going to try it. Anyway, I got to go see my real boyfriend, Chia.
I got to go see my real boyfriend who's, a demon angel, a demon vampire who killed a bunch of my friends.
He's chained up in an abandoned mansion right now, so I got to go.
Funny story. One time I thought he bit my mom.
He broke several of the windows at my house, let me tell you.
He's a great artist, though. He's a great artist.
Oh, he does great charcoal portraits, all right?
You gotta see a stationery guy. You got a good stationery person. You need some envelopes.
Oh, you remember Miss Calendar? He killed her. Oh, yeah. He killed the computer teacher. Remember her?
Yeah.
She's dead because of him. Anyway, he's better than you. I like him more.
I don't know why Buffy has this New York accent.
This accent, dude. It's just the perfect, like, oblivious, no care in the world act. Like, oh my God, what a fucking episode.
We're back.
What a fucking
This
episode.
show's back.
This show's back and better than ever. Hey nah, Buffy's back. You got any final thoughts on this bad boy?
Oh my God. Do I? No, no more. I think we covered them all.
Yeah. So that is it for Beauty and the Beasts, everybody. The next episode, Vance, is titled, and this is going to be a double entendre city, okay?
Yeah. I got a peek at this title, and yes, it is. Yeah.
Next episode's titled Homecoming. Definitely going to be a homecoming dance.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely Angel homecoming.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully we get another ghost who killed a teacher during a homecoming dance.
Maybe Homecoming 2, maybe Spike returns? Maybe Spike returns?
Maybe.
That's just an additional, but Angel's, this is going to have to deal with Angel coming back. It's going to deal with the fallout from that. There's definitely going to be a homecoming dance.
Mm-hmm.
Who is she taking to homecoming? Is it Scott Hope still? Does Angel see her with Scott Hope? Get jealous?
See, Angel can hang out in the Bronze and no one like bats an eye. But can he go to a high school dance?
I don't know. I think that they would because he looks significantly older.
Yeah. Like, it's weird that he looked older and he's probably not that much older than them.
Well, he is 200 and something years old.
Yeah. But, like, just in general, like, physicality wise, he does look like he's older than Xander and everybody else. But
yeah, he does look like he's like 25.
Yeah.
But Xander looks like he's 40.
Yeah. We haven't seen that teacher that we saw in the first episode of this season. That one at Peak.
Yeah, we have
that we thought was going to be a major player.
Yeah,
we'll see. Maybe this is the episode for him to show up.
Maybe he's chaperoning.
Yeah, guess so.
I'm gonna.
This has to be a Snyder episode. This has to be.
I was about to say. Yeah. I bet something crazy happens at Homecoming. Snyder's gonna see it and be like, "I knew it was Buffy. I knew it was Buffy." He's gonna blame everything on Buffy. Something crazy is gonna happen.
He should.
He absolutely should.
At this point,
absolutely should. Yeah, so those are the predictions for Homecoming, everybody. Thanks for listening. Rate and review, all that good stuff. Subscribe, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you can find podcasts. Join the Discord. If you want to follow us on Instagram at BoysWatchingBuffy. If you want to write in, slide into those DMs on Instagram, or email boyswatchingbuffy@gmail.com. And also, I mean, we're pretty active on Discord, so if you want to write something in there, that's a good place to do it. And that's about it. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time when we review Homecoming.
Right. Now I'm going to be stuck with serious thoughts all day.
Tune into the Salsa Kings Network. Crack one open if you dare, creeps.